Well, hey guys, Heike Yates here, and welcome to another episode on the Pursue Your Spark podcast. Today's interview is something that has been on my back burner for a while. And I thought, what better time than pull it out now since we're working from home and we're sitting on our buttskis a lot. I was interviewed by Molly Watts and Angela McDade, the dynamic duo of Five for Life. What do they do over at Five for Life? They're helping people age with optimism. And they have five principles, which are move, learn, share, give, and let go. And I was honored to be invited on their podcast to talk about my favorite, which is move. Enjoy. Hi there, you're listening to the Pursue Your Spark podcast. I'm your host and fitness warrior, Heike Yates. And on this show, we empower women over 50 to take back their health and strength with sound fitness, nutrition, and mindset strategies. Our guests on the show share their honest stories so that you'll have the courage to take action, knowing that you're not alone in your struggles.
So, Angela, did you get out for your run this morning?
No, I did not.
You did not?
No, it was really, really, really rainy.
Oh, Angela, it rains in Oregon all the time.
Well, it hasn't for the last 3 months. So then when it arrives, it's a little sad.
Yeah, a little reality shock. Well, I really can't give you too much of a hard time because I had absolutely zero plan for running this morning, and I haven't run as a consequence.
There you go. I do plan on running at least. So.
Okay, well, that's good. Daily action number 1 is move for a reason. It's incredibly important as we age, not only for all the physical benefits, but for mental benefits and creativity and things of that nature. Just there's a lot of reasons why we need to move on a daily basis. And I am my own best student right now because I've been so busy working on all of this that I have a tendency to really sit a lot.
Yeah, and we know that that's not a good thing.
No. Hopefully today's guest can help with.
Yeah, Heike Yates is our guest today, and she is a great example of number 1, move. And she has some great advice for us and great ways of figuring out how to fit move into your life, regardless of what your life happens to be. She can figure out how to fit it into your life.
She has a fantastic background. She really has spent like the last 30 years in the fitness world doing all sorts of different things. And whether that was, she's a certified trainer, but she's been a bodybuilder. She's been an ultra marathon runner. She's ran a Ironman triathlon. And I think she takes all of that experience and applies it to her life and to helping other people.
Yeah. It's all really great information.
Yeah. And she has her own wonderful podcast too. We'll talk about that. It's called Pursue Your Spark.
Okay. Well, coming right up, Heike Yates.
Hey, Heike.
Hi, Heike.
Hi, you guys. How are you?
Oh, we're wonderful. Thanks.
Not too bad.
A little rainy here out in Oregon way, which is the first time in a while. So
Yeah.
I know, my Molly, we're getting a big storm here on the East Coast. You probably have heard that North Carolina is being hammered. And here up in Maryland or Washington, D.C. area, we're not sure what we're getting, but people are starting to shop for bread and all the good stuff we need. In case we get a ton of rain and high winds, which we're expecting.
Wow. We can't complain because it has been very lovely here in the Pacific Northwest for the last month. But
last 3 months?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, even longer. But I always get a little bit of trepidation when the rain starts because then it might not stop.
Yeah, which is generally the pattern.
Yeah, that definitely puts a damper on going outside.
It does. And, funny you should mention that because it actually put a damper on my sidekick here, Angela's fitness plan this morning. She was supposed to go running this morning, but that didn't happen.
Yeah. I dropped my youngest son off at school and then plan was to go for a run and then record here, but it was so miserable. And I have an inability to stay warm when it's cold. So I thought running and it's cool enough. It's not cold, but it's cool enough just to get that coldness into your bones. So
Yeah, when it's
so
wet,
yeah,
it's really uncomfortable. That's true. I need many layers before I warm up. So I always go out and everybody makes fun of me because I wear a hat and gloves and extra socks and extra windbreaker. And my friends go in shorts and t-shirt. And I'm like, seriously, guys, it's way too cold out here. I need to stay warm. So I get laughed at, but you know what? I'm staying warm.
Yeah. Well, today it just provided a convenient excuse. And I bet that's not something that's kind of common. And we talked a lot about in the introduction about your background in the fitness industry for the last 30 years and really how important you see exercise, as a way of aging with optimism and how it's helping you create even better habits as you get older.
Yeah, when I moved here to the States, I'm originally from Germany, where in Europe everybody moves. You don't even think about movement. You just do it. You walk to the store, you bike to get groceries. Activities are just really built into your everyday life. And then when I came here, everybody was in their cars. There was no sidewalks. There were no bike lanes. For instance, in Amsterdam, you bike everywhere as well. And there's dedicated safe bike lanes. So it really was eye-opening that activity is not something that's just there easily available in your lifestyle, especially here in the States. So, and I understand why people seek out clubs or studios or other places to actually get exercise, because there is not that availability. And when I came here, I was like, I got to do something. I got to figure out a way of staying fit and not just head for the gym or not just wait for that day when the club maybe opens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's been always part of my life, to move as much as I can, and I call it get off my butt ski. And, and that's what I told my kids too. They got to get off their butt skis and move.
Right. I know you're probably familiar with this, but there is research now that a sedentary lifestyle and sitting, they say sitting is the new smoking. And that's what we really talk about a lot, is just moving more today than you did yesterday, getting up and doing something. And just kind of like what you were mentioning, it doesn't have to be a full fitness regime, but I mean, it certainly can be. And there are great benefits to having a great fitness program like you. I'm sure you can talk to us a little bit about that, but regardless, you have to incorporate movement into your daily routine.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it's not, like you said, it's not a thought out health program. It's just get out of the chair. Just, walk around the house, get into your garden and do some gardening, or meet up with friends and go for a walk and have a social outing instead of eating. Go for a yoga class or I mean, I love to dance. So I do meet my friends other than in my athletics, also in my dancing community. And it's amazing to see. And my husband and I would dance Argentine tango. It's amazing.
Fancy.
Yeah, that's how we met.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many much older people are there, and they have great posture and they're moving well. And again, as we're talking about research has shown that dancing improves cognition and movement patterns. And you see these guys that are in their 70s and 80s, and they're just swinging their legs, and they're much slower than everybody else, but they're having such a good time.
Yeah. And what you hit on right there is something that we, again, it's a part of the research and part of the science that's behind our daily actions, is that movement actually improves all the other areas of your body, not just your physical body, but your mental
relationships you have with other people that you're doing this with. So it's all kind of full circle.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about, I know that, you were in a corporate life and then you made a change, and then that kind of led you to where you are today. Take us back in time and tell us about all that history.
So 30 years ago, I can't believe it. It seems like yesterday.
Yeah.
I came to the States, and like I said, I worked in the corporate world, and I met my first husband through dancing again. And I have two children. My son is 30 and my daughter is 27. And when my son was born, I had gained a huge amount of weight. So I was 50 pounds more than I normally am. And after the child was born, I was like, oh, the weight goes off, like many women tell you, oh, I just dropped the baby and look at me, I'm back in a size 2.
And so these are like women of wonder to me, but because I did not look like this, I was out of shape. I had way too much weight on me. And friends of mine back then said, oh, I would get this great class at the YMCA, at the local YMCA. And all they do is toning and dancing to music and weights. It's perfect exercise for us. So I was like, oh, sure, why not? Dancing sounds good. Toning sounds good. And also being away from a newborn sounded really good at this point. And so I started taking the class and I just loved it. And it was called Dancercise.
Okay.
And it's funny enough because now 30 years forward, these classes are popular again. They were poo-pooed for a long time for CrossFits and high intensity workouts, but now dancing is back in. And when I took the class, I just loved it and I must have moved well. So they hired me as one of their teachers, and I was teaching 6-week-long dancer-size classes, a choreographed routine to a certain type of music. With a strength training component at the end. So everybody brought their little weights and their little mats to the churches or wherever we taught. Mm-hmm. And there was always a good group of all ages in those classes because the classes were doable. Anybody from really fit to middle fit to no fit could just have the same fun and get the same benefit out of those classes.
Which is great.
And this is really important. And as I progressed in my fitness career, I thought, oh, this is really cool. Who wants to go back to corporate when you can have so much fun? You don't get paid much, but it's a heck of a lot of fun and you stay in shape. So I ended up literally, I said, oh, dancercise is great. Then I said, oh, I want to become a personal trainer. That sounds great. I wanted to learn more about weights. So I became a personal trainer. Then I became pregnant with my daughter, Melanie, 3 years later. And I thought, oh, how great would that be if I could teach pre-postnatal classes? So I did that. I learned how to teach that part and was able to help the mommies like me that had kids or was expecting to stay fit throughout their pregnancy. So then this part was done. I'm like, what am I going to do with myself now? So I taught everything from spinning to step aerobics, to low to high impact aerobics, to slide for a while was really popular. And I just amassed all this knowledge about the different ways to coach. And then I got into yoga. I taught yoga for 3 years. Mm-hmm. And then Pilates came along. And I really fell in love with Pilates and the benefits of Pilates training. And I saw the benefits as we age, how well Pilates transferred the work from a young body to an injured body, to an arthritic body, to a really much older body with all kinds of other problems, and how intense or how gentle it could be. Mm-hmm. And I was sold on that. I said, this is awesome. And combining it then with my personal training, which is what I do with clients that I work with on their own programs specifically for them, I incorporate everything, anything from personal training to some yoga sometimes, and definitely a huge piece of Pilates. Anybody who works with me knows they will get Pilates. And it was a real game changer.
A lot of the research that, again, we did, and when we were putting together Five for Life, yoga is just something that is so universally accepted as a great form, and that, just Pilates being a form of yoga, just a great way for older people to maintain their flexibility, mm-hmm. which is just incredibly important. It helps you prevent things like falling in the future, and being able to maintain your balance is something that as you age is vitally important.
Yeah, not even the older ones. You'll be surprised how many young ones can't stand on one leg. I say, stand on one leg for 1 minute, and they're wobbling around going, you can't do it. Mm-hmm. I'm like, you're 35. You can't do it. I know.
Yeah. So. No, and you're right. You kind of bring up something again organically that we talk about a lot, is just you're never too young to start building the habits of a longer, happier life. You're never too young. Yeah. You're never too old either. So, you can make improvements no matter where you are. And this is great. Your path shows that you've changed, right? You've done different ways of incorporating exercise. And I know at one point in time you were a bodybuilder. You've done some marathons and
triathlons.
Yeah, triathlons.
Nice.
So
I'm an Ironman.
It's right, which is incredible in and of itself.
I'm an ultra runner, and I've done 50-mile different distances, and I've done all of this. But it all came from my passion of wanting to know more about movement, wanting to know what else could I do, and it comes really super handy because I'm currently injured.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't run and I can't really swim without a buoy in the pool. My ankle's injured, so I can't take any impact. So I now have to work around of what I can do for myself to help me through that period of that injury to come back stronger. And what I can do to make my body stronger, what modalities I need to incorporate to progress out of this other than going to the physical therapy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and again, that shows the beauty of having all those other, you're not just a one-trick pony. You don't just run. You do have all those other things that you can fall back on and incorporate into your whole life.
Yeah, many people are really afraid because when things like that happen, they don't know where to go. They don't know what to do now. And then it goes, from my experience, back to sedentary. Oh my God, I can't move. I now have arthritis in the foot, or I stubbed my toe, just to do something very simple. And it's oftentimes a setback for that person who's actually started to be active, that they're now afraid of, oh my God, now I'm injured, I'm going to do more. Instead of teaching them from our point in the fitness industry that there's other options. Mm-hmm. So if you have something, you can stretch, or you don't have to do as much. Or you can just go for a walk, even with a stubbed toe or a broken toe or arthritis in your knee. Nobody said you have to do something crazy. Mm-hmm. But then the options, there's so much stuff out there, and people are really not sure what to choose now. And then they get frozen in time.
Right.
And I'm a true believer of stop getting frozen in time. Just go find a trusted source that can help you find a solution, find a community where somebody says, oh, let's do chair aerobics. I used to teach chair aerobics for a while. That was a hoot.
I bet that is a hoot. I would
I
probably love chair aerobics. It sounds like right up my alley these days.
You'll be amazed how many things you can do, Molly, with a chair. I was like, it's fantastic.
I'm laughing just because I need to preach to myself more than anybody else right now, because, launching our business, launching this podcast, getting everything going, I have been spending an inordinate amount of time sitting
on a chair.
So chair aerobics might just be what I'm looking for right now.
Which brings us back to NEAT, because as we're sitting here, we can do non-exercise thermogenic activity called NEAT. So doing this is exercise. Mm-hmm. Playing with your feet under the chair is involuntary exercise, and that keeps you fit as well as burns calories, very little. But that's another way of incorporating exercise. If you're sitting on your I know I love that word, butt ski, and you type all day and produce, you can always do something with your arms, or you can just move around and pump your arms or march the legs in place. It counts as exercise. So all the listeners out there, it counts.
It's really too bad that we don't have video, Heike, because they would see you marching with your arms moving all over the place and dancing around on your chair right now.
They're probably saying, look at this goof. I'm not sure about that one. Because I always say, too, if you don't have fun, why do it? So I'm like, fun has to be part of it, and laughter has to be part of that. Because that puts a smile on your face, and a good belly laugh is awesome.
That's fantastic. Talk to us a little bit about Pursue Your Spark, because I know people are going to want to listen to you more because it's so much fun. So your podcast is called Pursue Your Spark.
Pursue Your Spark, yes. And Pursue Your Spark was definitely a labor of love. It became out of very different ideas initially that I wanted the brand to be. And I knew that I wanted to have a brand that was geared specifically to women, although I have some guys that are wholeheartedly loving Pursue Your Spark. And Pursue Your Spark is, who knew?
Good.
There's no exclusion. If guys want to join, they can do that too, but it's about pursuing your spark. And the spark is like what I feel life is. It's a big spark. It's something that enlightens you. It makes you happy. It makes you stronger. And so Pursue Your Spark is for active women. And I say this I don't know how, it's not just for somebody who's full on like rocking out the fitness, but somebody who wants to be moving, who wants to be mentally active, physically active. So as a whole package. And the age group is between 45 and let's say 55 to 60. And it's geared towards women that really want to rock their life. They really want to crush their daily struggles, get exercise into their day, how to eat right, how to get a positive mindset if they're stuck, if they're not sure where to go, and make it a whole cohesive approach to exercise, nutrition, and the mindset in itself. Because as we all know, we women get stuck in our mindset in the sense that we cater to everybody else first.
Yeah.
At some point, it's us. We all have children, so they're always first, and then we're there, and then we may not get that run in or that exercise class or eat healthy because there was just no time to eat. And so Pursue Your Spark is for women that really want to take life by the horns and make something different out of it, or change the direction, or make it a better direction. That's my goal with Pursue Your Spark. And it's an online program, so people can reach out to me on the podcast or on Instagram or on YouTube or on Facebook. I'm like all over the place because I want to spread the message. I want to say, oh, this is good stuff, girls. And many of us also go through empty nest syndrome. We're talking about the kids are leaving. We're talking about divorce. We're talking about suddenly death of the partner, even in an early age. So you're just looking at a whole new set of life, and you go, what about me? What am I going to do now? What is my dream? What are my dreams that I've never fulfilled? Or what can I do different that I always wanted to do?
Yeah, that's one of our big things is by doing all these 5 daily actions, it doesn't stop things happening to you. If you are setting up good habits, it helps you deal with things as they come up. So unexpected things that you have no control of.
Yeah.
If you have set yourself up with this optimistic, good outlook to life, and you're taking good care of yourself, then it helps you deal with some of these things that you have no control over. You have to deal with it. So it's really nice to have just that optimistic outlook in life.
Yeah. And you when you look at going back, one of the things to deal with these challenges is oftentimes by starting to move.
Yeah.
Do some exercise.
It's why daily action number one is move. And it's for a reason.
Yeah. And it's like, just get up and do whatever, dance through the kitchen for all you care, right? But it's just movement, and it brings also so much clarity as you move. At least from my perspective, when I move, I start to clear my brain. I think about the things that bug me or projects I'm working on, and I'm organizing them in my head, and I come home and I'm looking at my husband and going, I got the solution. Oh my God, I just thought of something really awesome.
That's true. There was actually a study, I can't remember what it was. I heard it on a TED talk, and they had 2 groups of people, and they told them to brainstorm some idea. And so one group just sat and they brainstormed, and the other group just sat and they brainstormed, and they come up with the similar amount of ideas. And then they sent one group out for a walk, and then they all came back and they did the same again. And so the group that remained sitting for both came up with a similar number again as the first time. But the group who went for a walk, they came up with way more ideas. So again, it's back to that whole, just when you go out and you're moving, your brain just works a little differently, and they come back and they had all these additional ideas. Yeah. So you're clearing your mind, and you're opening it up to more creativity.
Yeah,
so absolutely. It's not just simply the physical act of moving, which we are really we're pushing that part as well, but it's how it connects to the rest of your life, which is really great. And a lot of people aren't aware that it's it's so connected. It's not just the physical part.
Yeah, and one thing
I'm listening to Angela. Don't use the Scottish accent. Sometimes I just sit here and I start to
so cute.
I just get lulled into this happy little spot. Yeah. What were you talking about? No, I'm just kidding.
So cute. I was like, every time I listen to Angela, I want to go, hiya.
Oh, sorry. I just.
Yeah, it is like my daughter, as I said, she lives in Northern Ireland, and she now answers the phone by saying, "Hiya." I'm like, okay, all righty.
And then Cheerio, that's the one thing.
Cheerio.
People seem to think that's like a very English thing.
It does. I think of it as the British, but it's Scottish, you're saying?
Well, we say it all the time.
It's the UK, maybe.
Yeah, it's a UK thing, but when people do the imitation, it's Cheerio.
That's not how you talk.
That's really
So Heike, we're looking here, and tell us about the Spark method that you've got that kind of is a part of Pursue Your Spark.
That's my secret mix of things.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is it a secret?
No, it's right to see for everybody. Well, it's a step-by-step program that helps the people that are in my programs to gain clarity of each step that they reach, and each let's call it station they reach. So it's not a all or nothing program, or it's not just focused on one thing, but it helps to go, let's say, from point A is gaining clarity. What is clarity? Where do you gain clarity? What needs to be clarified in your life to move forward? Mm-hmm. So the Spark method is set up that way, that it's a logic, step-by-step progression of gaining clarity. And as you go through the clarity steps, you have exercises that assist in those different points of we're addressing. Mm-hmm. That if you want to kick your roadblocks, for instance, identifying what those roadblocks are, and finding strategies in a mutual session through worksheets again, and through our private Facebook group, where we discuss what the roadblocks might be and how these roadblocks can be solved, or are they really the roadblocks that we're sometimes thinking that we have already just thought that this was a roadblock, and it is really not, because we didn't look at it from a right perspective. Or things like, how do I get to exercise? I'm so overwhelmed for exercise. Could be somebody's roadblock. I never find time to exercise. Mm-hmm. So this is that's what the Spark method explores, which each of the 5 steps, it's specifically honing in on the different issues that may be different from all 3 of us. Angela's roadblock, that's used a roadblock, could be completely different from ours, but it still follows a step-by-step program or an action plan that you go, oh, she may deal with not getting exercise at all. I may get with, I'm injured, so what do I do? But dealing with these roadblocks or these different obstacles to get to the point where you can move forward and say, okay, I'm confident enough. I have no doubt in my mind that what I'm going to do is going to work. Nothing in my plan has not been proven, tested, and shaken about and turned upside down to make it work. But it's very individual in that sense.
Yeah, so you apply it just to yourself.
Mm-hmm. So you take away with what you need, because not everybody, let's say, needs to talk about nutrition. Somebody may say, you know what, I got my nutrition nailed, mm-hmm. but I just never eat. When I eat healthy, but I don't eat because I'm afraid of overeating. And that's a true story. So this person doesn't eat all day. It's seemingly forgets to eat. And at the end of the day, I'm eating this really tiny little meal, which is perfect, thought out, but it's not giving you the energy you need to bring you forward. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's also my free gifts that I have on my website. One is how to gain energy is one of them. And the other one is how to gain confidence in your fitness in your life. And number 3 is how to get that rocking fit body, eat your way to a spunky body.
Yeah. And so let's mention that domain. What is your website called?
It's HeikeYates.com.
All right. It's Heike, and it's HEIKE, right? YATES.com. HeikeYates.com.
Yep. And that's where you find Pursue Your Spark.
Perfect. Yeah. I'm sure people will want to go get those guides. The free guides are full of their
really great stuff,
information just right there. And then there's also, I think, the opportunities either for like a private coaching call or the 7-day, the Pursue Your Spark.
The planner, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Fantastic.
that's a paid program where we work together cohesively as a group who signed up through daily actions, through Facebook group, private Facebook group get-togethers. People get a free video every day to support the homework that they're doing or the actions that they're supposed to take that day. So
Fantastic.
it's really small steps, and it's so doable. It takes 5 minutes, but you got to do it. And it's not,
Yeah.
maybe tomorrow or today it rains or the kids are screaming or grandma wants me. It's doing it, taking action.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that we're trying to push as well, is what we're encouraging people to do is to do something. It's, and nothing is insurmountable. It's not all these like giant things that you have to do. It is a 5-minute thing. Just take a moment, do the thing, and and incorporate into your daily life. And if you're doing it on a daily basis, it turns it into a habit, and then you do it. It's something you don't really think about. You just get it done.
Yeah, Angela, that's exactly right. Daily action steps, and keep repeating the same habit for a long period of time. So it does become a habit, and it's not something you have to think about and saying, oh, now I have to drink my glass of milk or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something that you also enjoy doing, and it's just like getting up, brushing your teeth in the morning.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, completely. That's our whole mantra over here, is trying to help people live longer and live happier. And certainly, we're all about creating those habits too. And that's where our message is so intertwined so beautifully. But you are just a fantastic example of move and getting your move on and energy and optimism. And that's fantastic. And I think everybody can learn from the positive example you set, regardless even of working with you. You're just, you've led a life of activity. And for this, just the last probably thing before we go, but if somebody, I know this is the hardest part, I think, for me. A lot of people simply have never, ever really incorporated fitness into their lives. And there's a fear or a feeling that it's just simply, they're never going to be able to do it. Like, it's just not, they're so sedentary. They've just never done anything. What would your first words of advice be to someone that
where's the starting?
Yeah.
The starting point.
Start here. What would you tell them?
I would say go neat. March in place, turn on some music, tap your feet, snap your fingers. That's exercise. Start with that.
Do something little.
Just something little, because that's, if you're looking at currently the 80, 90 year age old group, many of the 90-year-olds that I have worked with have really not worked out. They don't know. They've never been to a gym. They don't know what a dumbbell is. They're like, they couldn't care less. But they've been active when they were younger. And these are really cool stories that I hear about people that used to be, just yesterday, 86-year-old client that I'm working with. And this is a great example. So she actually has decided to come to Pilates because she knows it's good for her. She just had a hip replacement. And she moves slow and her posture needs work. But that's why she's taking Pilates.
And she's 86.
And she's an avid traveler. She's been like everywhere with her husband. So she needs to be mobile. And her exercise was always chasing after her 9. Yes, that's true. 9 kids.
Wow.
That's more than us combined.
Yep.
And her husband, I know. And her husband. So walking and traveling is her part of her exercise. That's what I thought. Until I talked yesterday and I had her practice walking because of her hip replacement. Walking was difficult, which can also be scary after surgery. It's scary to move again. And so I gave her a little ball and I said, just toss the ball side to side. And she tossed the ball. She catches the ball. Perfect hand-eye coordination. Can't see really well, has glasses, has hearing aids. So anybody who's listening to this, there's no obstacle.
Right.
So she throws the ball and I look at her and I said, now walk down the hallway. She throws the ball, walks like a champ down the hallway, comes back, and I said, you used to play tennis, didn't you? She looks at me and she says, how do you know that? I said, with this hand-eye coordination and with this foot movement, you were an athlete. And so she played tennis competitively from age 6 to 16. And this still has stuck with her now at 86. And I said, you should be crazy proud of yourself that because you retain that. Doesn't matter if your body falls apart, you can't help it. But keeping those little skills, and that brings me back to your question, where do you start? What did you enjoy when you were younger? What is it that you brought you joy? Was it dancing? Was it gardening? For God's sakes, grab a little chair and pick out the weeds in the garden. That's exercise.
Yeah.
Something that's not threatening, something that's so little. And I truly believe that it's not even an effort. That you go and you say, yeah, I like that. It's going to be a little bit effort, but I can do that. And that leads to bigger steps. Maybe not the gym, which I'm okay with, but maybe for the walk around the block, or meeting friends for a walk, or a swimming, fabulous for older adults, or whatever we're called now, right? I'm an older adult. I don't know what that means, but but it's little steps. It's not this. Now we're pushed into a corner to do something that's so foreign to us that we have no interest in doing, but people say it's good for you. Stay away from that. Do something that you like to do.
Oh, that's great. I love
Yeah.
that. Do something you like to do. It's easy. It's easy if you think about it that way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You go back into history and you say, man, I used to play with kids. Why don't you go volunteer at a daycare?
Yeah. That's awesome.
You're people and you have to pick up stuff off the floor and
Right. Heike, you are absolutely great. It's been a joy to talk with you today. And again, people can find your podcast, Pursue Your Spark, and I assume it's available on iTunes and
Oh,
all the
iTunes.
places.
I just left it on iTunes.
Just on iTunes. Okay.
Just on iTunes.
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 And then also on your website, which is heikeyates.com, which we'll put in our show notes as well.
Yes.
So we just appreciate you coming on and hope that you have a fabulous rest of your day. And I hope the storm doesn't get too bad out there in Maryland.
yeah.
I hope not either. I mean, we got bread, so we're in business.
Excellent. Excellent news.
Thank you so much for having me on, Angela. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank
and I'm
you
glad
so
we're all on the same journey of making people move more.
So friends, I hope you enjoyed this interview as much as I had being a guest on Five for Life. Give Five for Life some love on Instagram and on Facebook. And since this recording, Angela has left Five for Life, but Molly is going strong, helping people age with optimism. So reach out to us at Instagram or on Facebook at Heike Yates or the Pursue Your Spark podcast or Five for Life, and let us know how you are aging with optimism. See you next time on the Pursue Your Spark podcast.